So where do we get to so far? Right, them there, wood there. Finish this. I'm going to give you one more fast forward. I think it would be a miss of me if I didn't show you to the very end, to the dying death, to the last plank of stripping pallets, stripping them shipping cases, complete the story. So I've just got that to do today. We might get disturbed. Stephen's due to come around. I really need the space, so I've really got to crack on. And you know, getting called by the trucks has distracted me for 3 days. I'm 3 days behind. Anyway, let's do a bit of fast forwarding and time lapsing. This should be the last session. Ooh, and we'll get to the end of the pallets. Let's give you a different viewpoint. Hold on. For a little stop, we're going to work on Stephen's brake cable specifically, and see if we can take the wheel off and adjust my brakes, and then we'll be back to this. But he said when he walked into here, this place smells lovely with all this wood here. Oh, the place smells lovely. It's God's air freshener, isn't it? Right, let's work on these wings then. The Silent Whisperer up on blocks. Oh, good old faithful blocks. I've had these blocks for years and years and years. Yeah.
That was on eBay, that was.
These blocks have been everywhere. Hold on, let me do an explanation. We've had trouble with these brakes. New brakes. These are the new brakes anyway. They've all been changed. So there's a right and a wrong way apparently. So we've just seen another picture. This should be over here.
Stephen, you're right.
Should be there, according to another set of pictures we've seen. And well, that's if the pin matches. If we can get that pin, and these springs should be behind. We've got one in front, one behind. We can't see why it would make a difference, but we're just going to give that a bash. Drums are okay. I mean, they're polished. They've got some age on them.
That says left hand. I don't know whether it makes any difference, Stephen.
Oh, they're very shiny, aren't they?
You know, they're too
Very
hard.
shiny. I don't know. Very shiny. This end isn't pushing as it should do. That's telling us something, you know, Steve. Why this is fully worn, the bottom one, and that's missing some at the top. There's something adrift, maybe. Usually shoes are fairly easy because you get a good big gap on one side and a little gap on the other, and you know which way they go.
And he says, well, that's going behind there.
And it's not as if the pin's got to be in the middle, because the trouble is, so the pin holds it in. This doesn't seem to look. If we put the shoe in that way and the pin goes there, yeah. Hold on. The two shoes look identical. This one cannot go that way because it fouls the back there. Look. Go there. Look. Go there. Let's turn it around. Do this again. Oh, see, it just fell out. Hold on a minute. Put it that way. That's not fouling that plate on the back. Look, it's not touching. It's close, but it's not touching. So this cannot go any other way. Hold on.
Yeah.
Doesn't bang it.
Good.
Yeah, but I thought this floated. It must, to make these, I thought this should float. Either this one should float or this one should float. That's floating. So that's doing okay. So it's not that then. And that clears the top of there, look. And when we put this back in, what did we decide? I've turned that around, by the way.
Yeah.
Does it matter? Let's try again.
I can't see it, mate. I can't see it.
Where were they originally? Oh yeah, no, it's the pin that didn't fit, wasn't it?
No, it does now.
Yeah?
Yeah, it does.
Either way.
So you can go either way, but I can't see a difference.
Springs are on the outside on this, isn't there? I don't know whether that has anything to do with it. Funny enough though, Steve, to think they're the same size. This one's got slightly more meat on it. That one's got square there and square there because that's got to go there because that's the handbrake. Oh, look. It's up against the block in it. That edge is up against this block where this doesn't interfere with the block there, does it? Yeah, come here, Steve. Used them for years and years, and when you do use them, you can't remember where you put them. Anyway, we've got them. We've got some square adjusting spanners, so we can adjust the brakes on them. Yeah. The brake adjuster on all these, square brake adjuster, it just
No, actually, that's not back.
opens and closes these fixed pivot points on here, and then there's your slave cylinder here, because it does your bidding. That's the slave cylinder, and that floats, so that centralizes it as it squishes it open, so you get a good grip all the way along. And then these little pins to hold the sheet. This pin comes through the back, and it's got a little spin on it, and then it's got a little washer with a clip on it. Give you half a turn. It keeps the shoe in place, stops the shoe from rattling. Sometimes you have a little screw that holds the drum on, and you get loads of trouble with it. Yeah, but this one hasn't got it. No. Yeah. Had a wobble. This had a wobble. It looked terrible, and wheels on, wheels off, wheels on, wheels off. But this has got this little ring around here. Look, on this stud. The other ones haven't got it, and you've got to put this in the right hole, slightly bigger, in the right place so it sits over it. Because if you don't, this sits off on a skew. Hold on. Yeah, let's do it that way. There it is, but it's not quite right. It's a little bit off. So what you've got to do is you get the bigger hole. The bigger hole then goes over it. Then it fits. Is that the bigger hole, Steve? Yeah. And the bigger hole sits over it. And just that little difference, just throws
Threw the wheel out a mile.
just, yeah. And it was wobbling and looking terrible, and yeah. Actually, we'll have to check up mine. It's got the same sort of thing. Can't see any difference at all, can we, Steve? So we're taking them off and putting them back on again. This one is jammed solid, so we've took the bleed nipple off. We should have eased the slave cylinder, but that as yet isn't working. We're just going to finish this one off first. Yeah. Fits lovely. These are the new shoes. Pass me one old one and one new one, please. Yeah, look at this and look at this. Oh, they are identical. You can't see a difference. You cannot see a difference at all. Hold on. There's no difference between that one and this one when you measure them up, when they look. They're absolutely. Turn that round that way. Right, come on. Concentrate. If you put them next door to each other, they look and feel and measure absolutely spot on. Look. There's a little difference there, but it's round, so it shouldn't make a difference. And this here is the same. There's no huge gap to see. And yet there is. There's not even really worth a damn of a gap there, is there? You put them there. Look. They're right next door to each other. There is no difference between them. Nothing obvious difference. They look the same, they fit the same, and yet when you put one lot in and it falls on, and you put the new ones in, which are new, so they should have a slightly thicker shoe on them. Anyway, look. How can one go on so easy and one go on like a mare? Doesn't make sense, does it, Steve?
How do we get this one off?
How do we get this one off? Because we hammered that on. So the bleed nipple is out. We'd already reduced the adjuster. It did take a belting on, but we thought it'll be all right. Yeah, let's get the fluid out. Let's move in. Ooh, something moving. It's come off.
They can't be the right ones then, can they?
It's far too tight. It said Triumph on the box, didn't it?
Yeah, and I even queried that and he went, yeah, no, they're the right ones. Huh?
Look at that.
But they're just...
They don't want to come off. There's not even an edge or a lip or nothing. There's no reason for them to be that tight, is there?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with these.
No, them, the old ones. Well, there isn't now. Hold on. Let's go and get the box. These are them. Want some brake shoes for a Reliant Robin. No, was it Reliant Robin? Reliant what was it?
Robin.
Yeah, Reliant Robin back axle. Pair of shoes. Okay, it says Triumph Spitfire on the box. But the bloke says, no, these are the ones. Check the part number. Whatever it is. And you can't see a difference. They look absolutely identical. But when you come to fit them, they don't want to play. Let's just check the last pair going
Is
on.
there a number on the other one or
These were
anything?
well hammered on, hold on. Absolutely identical. Yeah. You can't really say, oh, there's... But when it comes to fitting them, one drum falls on. We hammered these on. Just doesn't want to play. Doesn't want to play. It's not as if, we're not racetrack people. We're not, There's nothing wrong. Friction should do this okay. They seem they're very polished, that's all. But even very polished, they should still stop and brake, shouldn't they? Should improve. Uh-oh. That adjuster's out, Hulk. Straight on. Straight on. And yet you cannot see a difference. No. We've slacked everything back off. Drives you bloody mad, doesn't it? Drives you mad. So the old shoes are back on. So we've had them on, we've had them off, we've had them off, we've had them on. We've slacked everything off backwards as much as we can. It just doesn't want to play. Just doesn't want to play both sides. So it's not like one is off and the other one's on. Anyway, right. That's history now. The old shoes are back on. There was nothing wrong with them. Right. So the next problem we're going to do is the handbrake. The handy brake. We've had loads of bother with it. Loads of bother. Right, this clip's in there. You try and create an end of a cable. Oh, what a stinker of a job. Anyway, Steve brought us these and they've worked really well. It's tightened. Do you know the U-bolts? It just pulled through the U-bolts. That don't work. But this is doing a good job. But however, now it's pulling this through here. We haven't got one of these. We've seen them, these cable adjuster things, and now what it's doing, it's pulling the whole thing through here. So when you put the handbrake on, the pressure pulls in through here. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. This is working fine, but you just can't get enough of a pull on these brakes to hold it. You pull it tight, pulls this through. Look, that's shot. It's not threading in there, it's pulling its way through. So I think the only solution we've got, we butchered that on there, that seemed to do hold the outer cable, but now it's pulling this through here. So we've got to get a bolt, and we've got to drill a hole down the middle of the bolt, oops, to make this thing fit in here, because we haven't got one of these cable end things to kill the thread here. So that's the next job to do. Get this handbrake to at least hold, because it was catching and fraying the cable. We've got a good cable on it now. We've got a good cable on it now, but there is nothing, just homemade stuff. These crimpers, they must put a hell of a pressure to make them work. You try and make your homemade cable, and it doesn't want to do. Hold on, yeah. You try and make a homemade cable for this lot. Absolute nightmare. This already has been homemade. If you look at this here, look. So look at it. This is already a homemade affair. Get that cable out of there. Let's get this cable out of the way. This is already homemade, butchered. There we are, look. Let's have a closer look at this. This is already, the end of this cable is already a homemade socket welded up. Where are we? There, look. That is already homemade and welded up. The end of the cable. So that's okay. But of course you've got to get the cable in it. So you've got to split it down the middle. You've got to cut it, split it down the middle, get your cable through, because you can't mess with this end. It just won't hold the pressure. So there's the split on there, look. Come on, turn it round. There's the split down the middle. Get the cable in. So that's a homemade end there. Now we need to make a homemade end here. Somehow, some way. This is what's causing the trouble now, because it's not holding the adjustment. This thing, that's amazing. We were using U-bolts, a little bolt at the end of them, tiny ones, and it just pulls it, won't take the pressure. This thing's holding the pressure really well. Yeah. Right, so put the brakes on, they don't work, we bled them, blah blah blah, right? So put a tension on the handbrake and the brakes work fine. So you shouldn't really have to have tension on the handbrake to make the brakes work. If you let the tension off the handbrake, the brakes don't work at all. But you just have to push the pressure of your thumb up against the handbrake lever up here, which is not connected at the moment, and the brakes work fine. So you have to have a certain amount of handbrake on it to make it go. So that sort of lets you think, well, the brake shoes are worn, we need new brake shoes. But it's not the case, because the brake shoes we've got, crazy. Right, do that again then. Do that again. Right, ready? Right, now. Oh, that's better. That's better. Foot brake. Yeah. Brake off. Slowly. Right, brake on. Brake off. Yeah. Brake on. they're working, but they're not very strong. And you can see, you can feel the shoes moving within. Right. Oh, that's a good brake, that is. That's a good foot brake without messing with the handbrake. They are. That's good. Better than what was before. No, it's not binding enough. But all you have to do to make these work a lot better is, let me show you. All you have to do is
Does that
keep a certain
like
amount.
that's spinning freely?
Yeah.
Right, what size is that?
All you have to do is put use distance.
What else did I have to have it on?
Oh, you've stretched this back slightly, haven't you?
Right.
So you've got just
Let me tighten up
you
there.
just need tension against this, and the brakes work. But if you don't put tension in this little lever here, the brakes don't work. And then, so that's fine, right? Hold on a minute. Come back to you. End up the handbrake. Now it's on.
Yeah.
There we are. Well, that does the trick then.
Let's see if this quick brakes.
Hold on.
This still don't.
This one's working, but you can feel a lot of noise and inside. Yeah. But when you go to put the handbrake on properly, what's happening is this is pulling itself through there. So the thread on this is shot. That's fine. That's making the brakes work. So the brakes are working okay, but you need a certain amount of tension on these. So maybe that's why they're polished, because they're constantly just sitting there. But then when you go and you use the leverage of this to put the brakes on, and you want to go 3 or clicks up, this slips. That's where then this tends to pull itself through.
Pull the handbrake up a little bit, right?
Right, and up click, up click.
Okay.
Hold on, this is working fine now. Right, do you want to go one more click?
Yeah.
One more click. Now this is binding too much this side. I'm trying to take the movement out of this. Up one more click. Oh, no, it doesn't want to go one more click. Well, short of pulling it properly, you know.
Otherwise, the pedal's not getting hard.
This one's okay. Right, go on. Put your no brakes. Slightly binding. Okay. Handbrake on one click. Is that giving you brakes?
Yeah.
Brakes off. Foot brake off.
Yeah.
Foot brake off. I've got a solid wheel here. Hold on. You've got it. Hold on. No, there are. We've got a release here. It might be binding a bit. More than binding. Right, is brakes off now then?
Yeah.
Brakes fully off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is going round. And then what's that? Brakes fully on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Well, it's not. No. You know, momentum moving. That ain't gonna mean nothing.
No pedal over forward. No foot brake at all.
Bloody thing.
Yeah. Well, I can't get this pedal to bleed up.
That's the handbrake fully on, not fully stretched, but fully on. So this is working here. We've just got to get the other axle to work now, or the other side to work. It's working, but then you give it any sort of pressure on a hill, and it don't work. And it's not leaking anywhere. Those other brakes that came off were perfectly dry.
Won't bleed up now.
And yet, so you put these on, you think you've got new material, even if they are a bit bigger. But too big, can't get the damn things on. the only thing we can try, take them off, put them back on again. But we've already proved that, haven't we? We put the new brake shoes on it, they just lock solid. Deny everything. I didn't sit on there and lose my balance and fall off. I deny everything. So I know we are shooting in the dark. You see this side? We've got a good connection all the way around, haven't we? Nice, a clean connection. On this side, not so good of a connection. Look, so slightly different, so we're blaming these washers, letting air in the system. Look, when you look at them through the camera, you know, Steve,
Yeah.
you can see
Yeah.
that's a nice clean surface there. Nice shiny clean surface connection, as good as, you know. But when you turn the washer over, it's quite perished, pitted, uneven. And we've got nothing else to blame. We can't get pressure because I think these washers are done. Yeah.
Can't see the top over it.
You can't beat good old wooden blocks. You ain't got none of these wobbly bleeding axle stands that can be pushed over, all that malarkey. Just if you get an opportunity, I think this came as one big piece of wood and I got it cut into slices, into blocks. Just get yourself a set of wooden blocks. They last a lifetime and they're so useful when you're blocking things up. Decent big blocks. The little helper blocks just sit in the corner there. I keep moving them around, but the blocks now live underneath the parts cleaner. So I've got a little home where all the blocks go and out the way. So whenever you need them, you just drag them out. Really handy. Once you've got them, they're going to last you a lifetime. It's changed. We're just in the middle of changing the cut-offs. All these have come off the old one. Put this on the new one. We've got the flash here somewhere. I did see it. Oh yeah, we've got the flash ready to go back on. Yeah, there are well surely a flash. And there was something I wanted to show you. Come on, let me just. I've just been unbadging it and pinning it.
Don't get a big one. Why?
What?
Why do we have to change it?
Because I broke the other one. I outgrew it. So in case you don't know about these little things, they're not a thing until they're a thing. And what they are, if you've got pin badges and you've got that stupid little push on thing at the end that falls off because it rubs on your clothes. Have you seen these little locks for the end of pin badges? Brilliant little things, tiny little things. They come in little package, look. So I'll show you. And they come with a little tiny Allen key. And look, it just locks off. You've been putting them spring ones, they come loose. Look, it just pulls out. And do you know your pin badges? You put your pin badges on and them little push on things don't stay, and we've tried super gluing them in the back, but it goes white and everything. So if you are a collector of pins, or you like to put pins on your equipment or your whatever, however, if you've got a pin badge and they're forever dropping off, this is the Goldwing Club pin badge, look. These go on here and you get this tiny little thing, and it just fits on top, look, it just fits on there. And then you turn that round, and when you buy a packet of them, a packet of 10 or whatever, then this just goes in there, look. Hold on a minute. And then you get your little baby Allen key, tiny little Allen key, and and then it locks it in place, so it stops them from dropping off. So if you're getting trouble with your pin badges, that you're losing them, you're having to super glue them on. Hold on, you get yourself all in a tiz over your pin badges. I didn't know they even existed until I knew they existed, if you get what I mean. And they lock on. They're a much better thing to locking on your pin badges. Yeah. And I didn't even know they even existed until I found out that they existed. And you get them in a little box or a little pouch of 10 or whatever, however many you want. And we've got a little lifetime supply of them now. a little bit of a Saturday mosh. Look, it was recommended to us by Scout Crafter. Look, it's no bigger than a Flippo lighter. It's no bigger than a lighter. It's quite heavy, I'd say. These quality lighters, it's about the same weight, if not slightly heavier. Yeah, and this little clip, you can clip it in this way and you pull it forward, and that can twist around, look. So you can clip it on your hat or whenever that way. Or if you want to clip it the other way, you can do. It's what attracted me was the button is locked off. You got these torches, you put them in your bag, and they somehow switch themselves on, and when you want them, they're flat. So the little switch is protected. That is, turn it on, and then you can turn it on. So when you push that, look, and the light is amazing. To come out of a little, the fact that it comes out, you can put it on dim, look, and then you can turn it up, and it is amazing. The light in it is amazing, obviously for the size of it. And then if you push it one more little click forward, you can have, there's the light, look, hold on, that's the colour. Is that the colour? Hold on, what have I done? There's on. There's the second position, is it? Yeah. So you can have a little blue light, or you can have a little blue light. Yeah, have a little blue light if you want. Or you can, come on. That changes colour. That did change colour. Hold on. Let's try again. But that little light just changes colour. There we are. As you flick through it. Scout Crafter. Put in Scout Crafter in your YouTube and you will find him. Another little colour, right, come on. There we are. Where were we? Anyway. That's it. That changes colour. Anyway. For the size of it, and then that's the UBS to charge it. SBU, USB thing to charge it. Again, it's just going to go into the preparedness kit. It's really light. Should you... What did that do then? Did it think about making a light then? Anyway. Yeah, it did, didn't it? Didn't it? What am I doing wrong? That's the white light. as you can see, there's two. There's one there and there's one here, look. But it's light, you're not carrying a big torch. If, you know, this could be in your pocket, this could be in your top pocket of your shirt, it could be in your bag. What an amazing small thing that can create such a bright light, should you need to. So anyway, yeah, that's gone in the kitty, and that's gone in the preparedness kit. Yeah, and that's what it's called. And it was good, yeah. Right, we'll crack on now with the pallets, shall we? Yeah. Well, let's finish denailing. I've turned them this way so they're just easy to grab. There is a lot of garbage. We're at the very end of the pile now. All the broken bits, all the things we've bypassed. But first of all, we just got to denail them all. Even if you're going to end up throwing them, you want them denailed, don't you? So they don't scratch inside the car, or they don't damage any bags you put them into or whatever. So anyway, come on, let's crack on. Let's get it done. Let's get it finished. Hey! Did you ever think we'd ever see the bottom of this floor again? How big was that pile? I've turned them up that way so they're just at arm's length now. So we're doing okay. We've got this little pile here and that little pile to do. And we are done, and we are done. I know I'm messing with pieces that I shouldn't mess with, but nevertheless I'm still taking the nails out, so that if I stack them up in the car to take to the tip or whatever, we've got them, haven't we? So let's finish the job and get every last nail out of every last piece of wood that we've got on this job. We've got a few that we've got to split again, a few here we've got to struggle with, but we're getting so close to the end of our goal, and we've got a nice tidy floor. We've got plenty to put away. We'll denail them, stack them over here, start again. They can go up over there. Ooh, so close. We're so close to the end.